Welcome back, everybody, to my channel where you subscribe for the best crypto content. It's easy. Just click that button below. In today's video, I'm going to break down the latest Bitcoin news that you need to know about. So, first up, Bitcoin's entire 4-year cycle, the thing that traders have relied on for over a decade, may be broken forever. Institutional giants are pouring in billions, countries are stacking Bitcoin and even gold, and Michael Saylor just doubled down again. Oh, and analysts are whispering about $108,000 BTC by the end of the week. Welcome back to Crypto Cortex, your channel for no-nonsense crypto insights. Today, we're breaking down the latest Bitcoin news that could shape your investments. So buckle up and get ready for some serious brain gains. By the way, so if you want to stay ahead of the game, smash the like button and subscribe. Okay, let's dive in. Starting with Bitcoin's cycle, normally Bitcoin follows a predictable pattern. Halving happens, supply shock kicks in, retail hype floods in, price goes parabolic, rinse and repeat. But according to FundStrat's Tom Lee, that cycle is changing and soon. Why? Institutions from corporate treasuries to ETFs are now steadily pouring money into Bitcoin instead of waiting for halving events to trigger bull runs. We are seeing a consistent flow of capital that could flatten the old cycle and create a new one. Imagine that. Next, big news out of Asia. Hashkey Group, the Hong Kong-based crypto platform, just announced a fund targeting more than $500 million to build Asia's largest institutional bridge to crypto. Now, this isn't just a typical hedge fund. It's a unique multi-currency vehicle designed to connect traditional finance with digital assets. And guess what? Big money in Asia is preparing to move into Bitcoin in a serious way. Once this domino effect begins in places like Hong Kong, Singapore, and Japan, it could open the floodgates for trillions in future liquidity. Now, speaking of big players, Michael Saylor strikes again. On September 8th, Saylor's company announced it had purchased an additional 1,255 Bitcoin worth $217.4 million. Yes, another $250 million casually dropped into Bitcoin. This brings his holdings past 200,000 Bitcoin worth over $20 billion. For context, that's more Bitcoin than most countries own except El Salvador. And Saylor's conviction hasn't wavered since 2020. Every time the market dips, he doubles down. Now the question is, does he know something we don't, or is he simply shaping the future himself? Only time will tell. And why is crypto up today? Let's take a quick look at the current state of the crypto markets. As of September 8th, the crypto market cap has risen to $3.94 trillion. Around 80 of the top 100 coins are in the green, with total daily trading volume at $94 billion. Bitcoin remains the king. But here's what's key. Despite global uncertainty, institutions and businesses are still buying. And that's not hype. That's structural demand. Let's quickly touch on the drama surrounding ordinals. Ordinals leader Leonidas has just threatened to fund a Bitcoin core fork if developers censor ordinals or runes transactions. This comes ahead of the controversial V30 upgrade scheduled for October 2025. The fear is that Bitcoin developers could limit how the blockchain is used for NFTs and inscriptions. If this fork happens, it could split the Bitcoin community yet again, just like Bitcoin Cash in 2017. The question is, will we see another civil war in Bitcoin, or will cooler heads prevail? Only time will tell. Moving on, let's talk about Bitcoin treasuries going global. You already know that Michael Saylor's MicroStrategy is stacking sats like crazy, but he's not the only one. Around the world, nations and corporations are joining the Bitcoin revolution. El Salvador just bought another 21 Bitcoin to celebrate National Bitcoin Day on September. They're sticking to their 1 Bitcoin per day strategy since 2024, continuing to add to their Bitcoin reserves. Japan's Metaplanet, a leading Bitcoin holder, scooped up another 136 Bitcoin, bringing their total to more than 20,000 Bitcoin with a whopping 487% yield this year alone. Meanwhile, South Africa's Altvest Capital plans to raise $210 million for Bitcoin, aiming to become Africa Bitcoin Corp. These moves show a growing trend of diversification and adoption. So the question is, which countries or companies will join the Bitcoin bandwagon next? And while we're on the topic of adoption, check out this mind-blowing stat. Businesses across industries are now buying 1,155 Bitcoin every single day. That's $195 million daily. Just think about that. In just the next 20 months, they'll have added $1.3 trillion worth of Bitcoin. If that buying pace continues, analysts say Bitcoin could soar past $125,000 much sooner than expected. All right, shifting gears a bit, let's talk about something fascinating. El Salvador just made another major move. They bought nearly 14,000 ounces of gold worth $207 million. This is their first gold purchase since 1990, and it comes right after they paused their Bitcoin accumulation strategy. Now, what does this mean? Possibly a strategy to balance Bitcoin's volatility with more traditional reserve assets like gold. But think about it. A nation-state openly using Bitcoin and gold as reserve assets. That's a blueprint other countries might follow. Next, let's shift our focus to Bitcoin. In banking and Wall Street, things are heating up there too. U.S. Bancorp, the fifth largest U.S. commercial bank, has relaunched its Bitcoin custody service after a 3-year pause. Yep, you heard that right. They're back in the game. This move comes as ETF demand explodes. And let's not forget, even traditional banks can't ignore Bitcoin anymore. And in Europe, a Bitcoin treasury backed by the Winklevoss twins raised $147 million. This marks the first publicly traded Bitcoin treasury company on a European exchange. Wall Street and global finance aren't just dipping their toes in anymore. They're diving right in. Here's the ultimate Bitcoin flex, the rare Bitcoin billionaire. Thanks to his bold Bitcoin bets, Michael Saylor has officially hit the Bloomberg Billionaire Index with a net worth of $7.37 billion. What started as a daring gamble in 2020 has transformed him into one of Bitcoin's biggest moguls. But he's not alone. Public companies across the board now hold over 1 million Bitcoin in their treasuries. That's 5% of all Bitcoin in existence locked up by corporations. The days of retail investors dominating the narrative are over. Institutions are taking the wheel. Okay, let's recap the key takeaways. First, institutional inflows are reshaping Bitcoin's traditional 4-year cycle. They're breaking the old patterns and introducing new trends. Second, global companies are buying Bitcoin daily, amassing huge amounts of Bitcoin on their balance sheets. Third, countries are joining the Bitcoin movement, adopting Bitcoin and even gold as reserve assets. Fourth, analysts are predicting price surges, with some forecasting $108,000 by the weekend and others targeting $125,000 in the near term. Simply put, Bitcoin is no longer a what-if scenario. It's becoming the backbone of corporate and even national strategy. So the question is, are we witnessing the final shift from hype-driven speculation to a new era of institutional control? Or will retail investors continue to play a dominant role? Only time will tell. But one thing's for sure, staying informed is crucial. Smash that like button, subscribe to Cortex, and turn on notifications so you never miss another update. And remember, in this market, timing is everything. So stay sharp, stay curious, and stay ahead of the curve. Until next time, this is your host signing off. Stay wise.